Hi everybody. Today we're going to show you how easy it is to make homemade English muffins. It's a cold, rainy day in the 40s here in New England today. Hard to believe that this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, but I'm taking advantage of the cold weather. I've actually got my wood stove going in the background, so I'm going to be doing a lot of baking and cooking and meal prep today so that when the weather does warm up, I've got some things in the pantry or in the freezer that I can pull out and enjoy later. Now, the recipe that I'm using today is very simple. It doesn't include any prep work like sourdough prep. These aren't sourdough English muffins, they're just regular English muffins. And I'm going to be using ingredients that pretty much everybody probably has in their kitchen. The only thing that might be a little different is we're going to be using a little bit of cornmeal today. And that isn't to go in the mix, but you'll see what we're going to be using that for as we work through this. The ingredients we're going to use today are yeast. We're going to use some warm water. We're going to use some sugar. As I said, you can substitute honey, but we're going to use sugar today. And we'll be using flour, salt, and butter. The first thing we're going to do is start with proofing our yeast. So let me get the stuff I'm not going to use right away out of the way and grab some warm water and we can get started. So the first thing we're going to do to get our yeast proofing is I've got 1 1/4 cups of warm water. Now this is, I have well water, so this is just warm tap water. I'm not using anything real hot. I'm not using anything cold. What that's going to do is allow us to take our yeast, and I'm using about 1 1/4 teaspoons. There's one. About 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and that's going to allow that along with our sugar, which I'm using 3 teaspoons of sugar. So there's 1, 2, 3, and like I said, you could use honey instead if you wanted. And then I'm just going to mix the sugar and the yeast in the warm water, and that's going to allow the yeast to feed off that sugar. And it's going to cause that to create kind of a foamy area on top of this water. And that's going to be the yeast starting to process. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. And that's going to allow this yeast to proof well. I want to make sure I put this in a warm area. So I'm just going to put it over on the counter next to my wood stove where it's nice and warm. And as soon as that is proofed, we'll be back to get started with the rest of our ingredients. Well, my yeast is almost done proofing, but I wanted to quickly go over what I've prepped for the next steps. So I took my butter and I melted that, and that's going to be 2 tablespoons of butter. So I've got that melted. I just put it in a little metal measuring cup. I put it on the corner of my wood stove until it was melted. You don't want it hard when you add it into the mix. You also don't want it really super hot. So pre-melt it, let it sit for a few minutes while your yeast is proofing. You'll be good to go. I've got my flour. I'm going to be using 3 1/2 cups of flour. I've got salt, and I'm going to be using a teaspoon of salt. And the other thing that I am going to be doing is I've got one of my stainless steel bowls, and this is what we use whenever we're raising our dough. And I'm just going to take a little bit of oil, just a tiny bit, just enough for me to take and oil the bottom and the sides of this so that when I put my dough in it, it's not going to stick. So that's one thing I had mentioned in previous times when we've been doing breads, that we just lightly oil this so that when we cover it and the bread rises, it doesn't stick. So I'm just going to put this aside. I'm going to wash my hands and then I'll grab our proofed yeast and we'll move on to adding the other ingredients. Well, now that our yeast is proofed, we have a nice little foam on the top in the bowl. It's time to add our other ingredients. So I'm going to be putting in, as I had mentioned, I'm going to use 3 1/2 cups of flour, and I am not sifting this. This is just all-purpose flour. So there's 1, 2, 3 and a half cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to be putting in 1, I'm going to make a little hole in the middle here. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I've got my 2 tablespoons of my melted butter. Use my little teaspoon here to scrape that in. There we go. And now I'm going to start this with a fork, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of extra flour and I'm going to set that aside on my pastry mat because I may need that if my dough's a little too sticky. So I'm just going to start mixing this together with a fork. And I already know that at some point my hands are going to be in this. So I've got my hands washed nice and clean. And we're going to start. And for anybody who does a lot of bread baking, you'll know what I mean when I say this is a soft feeling dough. It's not, you don't want it super sticky. So I've got that started, and now I'm just going to clean off my fork. And I'm going to start mixing this by hand. And as I mix the flour in, if I find that it's a little bit too sticky, I can add just a little extra flour as I need it. Let's see how this goes. Once I get this fairly mixed together, a little sticky but not too bad. Once I get this fairly mixed together, I'm going to dump this bowl out onto this pastry mat. And if you've watched some of our other videos where we're making breads or pizza dough, you probably have seen this mat quite a bit. And I'll make sure for any of the items that we use in this, like all our other cooking videos, that we have a link to our Amazon store in the description. And we appreciate anybody who does buy anything through those links because it really does help us out a lot and it helps us keep these videos going. All right, so let me clean off my fingers. This isn't too bad. Get those pretty well cleaned off. I'm going to move this flour out of the way and then we're going to get this onto the pastry mat. All right, so all I did was take what was in the bowl, wiped it out with my fingers. You can see we've got loose pieces. And all I'm going to do is start kneading and incorporating all those loose pieces into my dough ball. And I'm going to be doing this for about 5 minutes. And all I'm doing is folding and pressing. And then I'm just going to roll it to pick up some more of this, the pieces, and just fold and knead. So I'm going to be doing this for about 5 minutes. If the dough gets sticky, which so far it's not sticky at all, I can just take a little bit of this flour, sprinkle a little bit over the top. Right now it doesn't look like I'm going to need it, so I'm just going to get it out of my way. And I'll be back as soon as 5 minutes is up of me kneading the dough. Okay, so I'm at the end of my 5 minutes of kneading. So all I'm going to do, like with any other dough that I make, I'm going to put it into a ball, pinch the bottom together. Then I'm going to take that pan that I had, the bowl that I had previously oiled. And as you can see, this isn't sticking to my hands at all. So this came out really awesome. I'm just going to set it into the bottom of the bowl. And I use shower caps to cover my bowl anytime I'm rising bread. Now I'm going to put this aside in a warm place for about an hour to rise. And as soon as it's done rising, I'll be back. Our 1 hour rise time is done. So let's take the cover off of our dough. that out of the way. And you can see it has increased in size quite a bit. So all I'm gonna do, I don't have to punch it down. I'm just gonna roll it out of the bowl. It comes out nice and easy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to separate this into 10 approximately even pieces. And I like this mat because nothing sticks to it. It's awesome. So I'm just gonna kind of separate this out. Now, unlike Steve, if Steve was making the English muffins or making rolls, he'd have the scale out and he'd be weighing the dough to make sure his were all even. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna guesstimate. I'm gonna use my pastry cutter. You could rip this apart with your hands. You could use a knife. I'm gonna figure what looks about to the middle. I'm gonna cut that in half. And then I wanna take this piece and I'm gonna separate this into 5 approximately even pieces. Let's get that there. So I'm gonna do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that looks pretty good. Once I get these all cut out, I'm gonna just put these aside for the moment. I'm gonna do the same with this one. And I just stretch it out because it's easier for me to cut it when it's not like super tiny. It's easier for me to kind of guesstimate my 1, 2, 3, let's go a little more this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you want your muffins to be, English muffins to be exactly the same size, you're gonna wanna weigh these. Like I said, I'm not too worried about it. So the next step is to just take each piece and you're gonna make it into a ball. So I'm just rolling it between my hands, super easy. I'm gonna pinch together any places where there's a big seam. Just roll it for a bit until I've got a decent sized ball. And then what I'm gonna do is sprinkle a little bit of this cornmeal down onto my mat. I'm gonna take the ball, I'm gonna flatten it out with my hand. Let's get this flattened out. Now, keeping in mind that this is a springy dough, it's gonna wanna spring back. Don't worry about flattening it out too much. I'm gonna go to 1/2, 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm just gonna flip it over. I'm gonna get cornmeal on the other side, pat it down. And then I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna put them onto a tray that I've got covered with parchment paper. Let me get the rest of these done and then I'll be right back for the next step. So I also wanted to mention the reason that we're using the cornmeal is so that our muffins don't stick when we put them on the pan on top of the stove. So let me get these finished. I'll be right back. So I've got my last one ready to go onto the pan. Now, I'm not going to be cooking them on this pan. This pan is for rising the dough only. So I'm going to cover these with a tea cloth and then I'm going to put them someplace warm. I'm going to let them rise for another 20 minutes and then we'll be back to get these on the stovetop. Well, our 20-minute rise time is up. As you can see, they've puffed up a bit. Now, like bread, they're not gonna double in size if these were like regular bread rolls. But now we're gonna take them and we're going to put them onto our pan. Now, I'm cooking these on my wood cook stove, so I have it all the way to the right, which for me is the equivalent of a low to medium heat. And if you're doing these on an electric stove or a gas range, you want to set it to low to medium. So like halfway between low and medium. Looks like I'm going to get 6, let's say 7 on here for now. We're going to let these sit for 9 minutes. Then we're going to come back and flip them for about another 5. I'll come back in 9 and we'll see if they're golden brown on the bottom and ready to flip. We've gotten to our 9-minute point. I'm gonna flip one of these over and see if they're ready. Yep, the nice golden brown on the bottom. So we're gonna flip the rest of these over and we're gonna let them go for about another 5 minutes. Our first 7 English muffins are off the top of the wood cook stove, and they look like they are gonna be amazing. So they got nice and browned on both sides. And while the first batch was rising, I had made a second batch of dough, so I have more over on the wood cook stove. So let me get the rest of these cooked up, and as soon as I have everything off the stove, we'll be back to talk. All our English muffins are now cooled, and as I said, I did 2 batches, so I've got 20 English muffins. A regular batch makes 10. I'm gonna take probably at least half of these and wrap them up and put them in the freezer so that I can take them out when we're ready to use them. The rest I'll keep out to use over the next few days for breakfast. Now, if you are thinking about, I'd rather have something special like cranberries or cinnamon and raisin for your English muffins, you can do that. You'd add those ingredients just before you knead your dough. And I'd start with, say, a 1/4 cup of raisins or a 1/4 cup of cranberries. If you're looking to add dried fruit, I would not add wet fruit because it's going to completely change the consistency of your dough. So let's take one of these. And they came out really nice. And I am going to do something that may be controversial to some. I'm going to use a knife and I'm going to cut open my English muffin. Some people like to fork split these. And to everybody out there, if you have made it this far in the video, make sure to leave a comment and let me know, are you on team fork split or on team knife? So let's open this up. And they came out really nice and soft on the inside. So these are going to be great. Just throw them in the toaster and make regular English muffins. I'm sure we'll be using them to make some egg sandwiches. So if you like this type of video and you've enjoyed this content, please make sure that you give us a like. Remember, any of our recipes are available to download for free with no ads on our webpage at keepingitreal.com. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll make sure to leave a link to the recipe in the description, as well as, I mentioned earlier, a link to our Amazon store. If you have any questions about the recipe, make sure you let me know. And other than that, until next time, everybody, take care.